16th at 6 p.m. here at City Hall, 116th West Bridge Street, Granbury, Texas. The Granbury City Council regular meeting is now called to order. I'd like to call upon Christy Durant with the Stonewater Church, the Toller campus, to lead us in our invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance and the Texas Pledge led by our own Trish Reiner. All rise, please.
Good evening, everybody. I'm going to start off with Matthew 22:37 through 40. It's the great commandment. Hearing that Jesus had silenced the Sadducees, the Pharisees got together, and one of them, an expert in the law, tested him with this question: "Teachers, which is the greatest commandment in the law?" Jesus replied, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart, your soul, and your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. And second, this is like it: love your neighbor as you love yourself. The entire law and the commandments, these are the greatest, and they all follow thereafter." Let us pray. Father God, we just thank you today for being here with us, being present. We pray that your Spirit dwells within each of our hearts today, as well as the wisdom and grace that we need to make wise decisions today, and important ones at that, Lord. We know that you are in this place, and we thank you for that and your grace and mercy. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And who takes this flag? Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
At this time, we have a proclamation. Is January 2018 as the School Board Recognition Month. And I believe we have some school board members with us tonight, so if we could get the school board members to come up here, and we'll read the proclamation. You're going to be posing for pictures, so however you want to look right here.
Backside, please.
Don't smile.
Proclamation reads, whereas the mission of the public schools is to meet the diverse educational needs of all children and to empower them to become competent, productive contributors to the democratic society and an ever-changing world. And whereas local school board members are committed to children and believe that all children can be successful learners and that the best education is tailored to the individual needs of children. And whereas local school board members work closely with parents, educational professionals, and other community members to create the educational vision we want for our students. And whereas local school board members are responsible for ensuring the structure that provides a solid foundation for our school system. And whereas local school board members are strong advocates of public education and are responsible for the communicating and the needs of the school district to the public and the public's expectations to the district. Now, therefore, I, Nin Hewlett, the mayor of the city of Granbury, Texas, do hereby proclaim my appreciation to the members of the Granbury ISD School Board and proclaim the month of January 2018 as the School Board Recognition Month. So in Granbury, I urge all citizens to join me in recognizing the dedication and the hard work of the local school board members in the working with them to mold an education system that meets the needs of both today's and tomorrow's children. And with that, we have a proclamation to present. How many people out there have been fighting these colds, huh? Yeah, I have too. I told my mayor pro tem he better get in the bullpen and get ready, because if I start coughing and all that, he's going to have to take over. So he's ready, I'm sure. Our next item is our consent agenda, folks. We got a couple items on the consent agenda. The first one being to consider approving City Council meeting minutes of January 2nd, 2018 of the regular meeting. The second one being consider adopting Resolution 1802, providing written consent to 5.691 acres located within Acton Storage Addition, Block 1, Lot 1, as platted in the P 629, be included within the Action Municipal Utility District, the AMUD district. Those are the items on the consent agenda, Council. You've had an opportunity to look these over. Are there any items on there that you would like to discuss or even remove from the consent agenda at this time? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved, Mayor.
I have a motion by Councilman Allen.
Second.
I have a second by Councilman Corrigan. Council, is there any more discussion on the consent agenda at this time? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. That consent agenda is approved. Next, we'll move into our deliberation agenda. That first item being to receive a status report on the developing workforce housing in Granbury. And I'm going to call on our city manager, Chris Kaufman, to talk a little bit about that one and probably give us a guest speaker out there.
Thank you, Chris. Mayor. You bet. You all may recall that last year we went through this process. In fact, every year we receive resolutions from different companies looking to do the 9% tax credit housing program. And if you'll recall, last year we hired Ramel to represent us in trying to negotiate to be successful in some of those. And we came in, we were first place losers. We came in second place for the region, and they built somewhere else. But this year, they're still working for us. They've got a report that we'd like to turn over to Ramon. I don't know which Ramon, Dad or Senior or Junior. Come on up, Ramon Gerardo with Ramel Company. And he'll give you an update about where we're going, and then also we need to renew their agreement to continue this consulting work as part of the latter part of this agenda item.
Correct. Thank you, Chris. My name is Ramon Guajardo Jr., 2205 West Broadway, Fort Worth, Texas. Giving you all a handout. Thank you, Chris, Mayor, Council, citizens of Granbury, for letting me speak today. Provided you all a handout with our status report from last year. So the purposes of this is to provide the city, the Granbury City Council, an update report to our efforts to develop workforce housing in the city in Granbury. Ramel Company was commissioned last January by the city of Granbury to provide a development and financial consulting services to promote the development of workforce housing. This type of development would involve the partnership of the Granbury Housing Authority. The options that we have considered for financing the development of workforce housing are listed. The Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs provides two types of low-income housing tax credit programs. The first is a 9% low-income tax credit program that may be used for equity towards construction. This program provides about 60% of the construction cost. The second program is the 4%, a little less competitive. This provides about 30% equity towards the construction. The third option is the Public Facilities Corporation model, which we refer to as the PFC. This provides housing units for households that are within the 80% of area median income or less, along with introducing market rate units. So it's a mixed income development. Our efforts, as Chris said, last year there was one application that was submitted for the city of Granbury. Unfortunately, it was not awarded, but we were tasked with providing developments for 2018. So I'll go on to the next page. January 9th, the applications for the 9% tax credits were due to the state. 5 applications were submitted for the city of Granbury. In the region, there's only 7, so we're only competing against 2 other outside of Granbury. We feel very strong about them. Applications are going to be due March 1st. We will be negotiating with these developers to work with and partner with the Granbury Housing Authority in order to provide this workforce housing. At this time, we have communicated with all 5 of the developers, and at this time, no one has pulled out yet. So we feel very strong that we're going to have good, solid final applications to go to the state and bring in workforce housing for 2018. Are there any questions?
Just make it clear, there's only one going to be awarded on this list of 7.
Correct. So the allocation for Region 3 rural is in which the city of Granbury is within. There's only one going to be awarded. They are provided a equity amount per year that is able for the developer to subsidize the rents for the low-income housing. The actual developments look like any other development, and that tax credit just allows us to allow the developer to lower the rents for your workforce housing.
On number 3, you said 80% of area of medium income or less than market rate units. What is medium income for Granbury, and what are you saying there when it says less than market rate? Oh, sorry.
On number 3, the PFC.
Yeah, so the PFC model, yes, you're right. So the PFC, while the low-income housing, the low-income housing tax credit process typically handles the 60% area medium income and lower, the PFC model handles the 80% and lower. So it kind of gives you a better gap. Right now, we haven't done the market study. We're not the actual developers. Our developers that come to us with proposals do those analysis and market rate studies. I would figure that, I don't know what your market rate units are at this time, but we would figure they're going to be just below them that allow these people to go in there and live there. I think the biggest problem that the city of Granbury has had is there hasn't been enough of the affordability in the housing. And that's what these models all bring.
So you don't know what the medium income is?
No, sir.
Thank you.
Mayor, I can get that for you at a later date.
I was just curious.
Councilman Couch.
So does Granbury have their own criteria versus, because it used to fall under Fort Worth's numbers. It doesn't do that anymore?
No, so Granbury, considering that each city has their own census tracts, and that's how things are kind of equated or managed, you're not really following. And also, you're in a rural setting, not in an urban setting. Fort Worth is in an urban setting, so they do have different criteria.
Because HUD would provide those the market rents and the incomes, right?
They do provide them, but you can challenge those based on what the actuals are.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Mobley.
just so we don't spend a whole lot of time on this, the median income based on the last census is $45,451 for a family.
Correct. Okay. Thank you.
For a family of 4?
Family of, yeah.
It says family. It says the median income is $35,000 for a family is $45,000.
So they do have criteria for, the state looks at if you're a family of 1, family of 2, family of 3, and they do have adjustabilities to those.
Go ahead.
Any further questions?
Oh, they'll let me know.
I appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Mayor, the second part of this is to consider renewing the agreement that's in the packet.
So, Council, you've reviewed that and heard this from our representatives here. So, at this time, I would entertain a motion to renew their services.
So moved.
I have a motion by Councilman Mobley.
Second.
I have a second by Councilman Couch. Council, any more discussion on this item? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. That is approved. Look forward to it. Our next item is to consider appointments for the following city boards and commissions: the Building Standards, Plumbing Adjustments and Appeals Board, Capital Improvements Advisory Committee, Cemetery Board, Charter Review Commission, Granbury Parks Board, Granbury Regional Airport Board, Historic Preservation Commission, Municipal Utility Advisory Board, Planning and Zoning Commission, Public Television Channel Advisory Board, and the Zoning Board of Adjustments. Council, you've had in front of you the applications, and I know these have been growing. Actually, they grew today. So, but that's good that we've got people that are applying for all these boards, and we've got enough people to fill all the spots that are open. Now, you will see on your list that you've got people that are applying for some boards that are applied for multiple boards, and it's indicated on there. You've got some people that are applying for some boards, maybe their first, second, third, or fourth decision, or their priorities, and that's indicated on there. And you also have people on there that have been serving on the boards and have chosen that they would want to continue to serve, if that is possible, and also some folks that have decided that they do not want to serve on the boards anymore. So most of that stuff has been spelled out, and Carla's done a good job of keeping track of all this and putting this all out there for your review. So at this time, what I'll do is I'll start with we'll just start right down the line, and what we'll do is when we'll have the names of the people. I'll talk about the board a little bit, and I'll also talk about the vacancies that are there, and then we'll go through the names, and I'll have a show of hands. So make sure your hands are up, and so we can get a count, a show of hands of how many people are nominating that particular person. And then when we have the amount of people that we need to fill them boards, then we'll vote on that. And then if we need to vote, on putting those appointing those people to the board, then we'll do that also. Okay? So the first one is the Building Standards, Plumbing Adjustments, and Appeals Board. Appointment of one plumber and one general contractor, and no residency requirement. The background on this one here, as we've seen here, we've got the terms that are expiring are Russell Pruitt, which is the plumber chair, Billy Friesen, which is a general contractor, and then there's a vacant insurance agency. And if you look over to the right there, you've got Billy Friesen, general contractor, who has reapplied. And you also have Walter Wilson, general contractor, which would fall in there. So we have two that have applied. And I'm assuming, Carla, that the other two people don't want to continue. Okay. Right. Yeah, we can appoint two of them, really.
You got a general.
Okay, you're right.
Vacancy and a plumbing vacancy and
So we have a plumbing vacancy that we won't be able to fill tonight, unless we have somebody that jumps up here and wants to apply for that. And the general contractor. No, we have a general contractor. We have a general contractor. But we have the vacant insurance agency. And we don't have anybody for that. So with that said, the only one we could vote on tonight would be the reassignment of Billy Friesen as a general contractor to the Building Standards Plumbing Board. So all in favor of putting Billy Friesen back on that board with a show of hands. Okay, that's unanimous. So now I'll have a vote to assign Billy Friesen to the Building Standards Board. Do I have a motion to put Billy Friesen on the Building Standards Board? I have a motion by Councilman Couch.
Second.
I have a second by Councilman Mobley. No more discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Billy will be put back on that board. And like I say, once again, we're still looking for a plumber on that board and a insurance agency. Our next one is our Capital Improvements Advisory Committee. It has one member to fill the vacancy if desired. And when I say that, council, is that we have, let me get this right, there are still 6 active members on the committee. We had 7 at one time. The ordinance requires only 5. So we do have the amount of people that we need on that board, but we do have Jason Gatewood, who is vacated, is vacated at an unexpired term, and we can replace one person if we choose to do so, or we can leave that board as it is. So if
Mayor, I've got a question.
Councilman Couch.
Are they meeting?
Yes.
Yes, I believe so. Carla?
Yes, they are.
Okay, they are.
Okay.
Yes. And the applicants we have is Laura Bush, which is her number 5 choice, J.C. Campbell, Bob Haggard, which is his number 2 choice, and Walter Wilson, which is number 3rd. And each one of these, since we've filled all the different positions that are required, each one of these people, if you choose to put another person in this vacancy, would qualify. So do we have a motion to put somebody on that board or to leave it as is?
I make a motion to put somebody on the board.
We have a motion to put somebody on the board.
Second?
We have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We will assign somebody to that board. I'll go down the list here. Show of hands for Laura Bush. A show of hands for J.C. Campbell. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A show of hands for Bob Haggard. And a show of hands for Walter Wilson. J.C. Campbell. At this,
You fooled us again.
you fooled us again.
Pay the same old Mr. Campbell.
So at this time, I'll look for a motion. All in favor of putting I'm looking for a motion to put J.C. Campbell on the Capital Improvements Advisory Board.
So
So
moved.
move.
I have a motion by Councilman Mobley and a second by Councilman Allen. Any more discussion on that one? Not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. J.C. Campbell will be appointed to the Capital Improvement Advisory Committee. Our next board is our Cemetery Board. Appoint 4 regular members, no residency required. And at this time, we have Lametta Keenan is not seeking reappointment. Asa Maddox, Carol Walton, and Billy Wiley. They are all seeking reassignment. And we also have a Kathy Hanlon. So council, just weed through this. We have 4 openings and 4 applicants on this one here. The applicants are Kathy Hanlon, Asa Maddox, which is incumbent, Carol Walton, incumbent, and Billy Wiley.
Mayor, I make a motion we put them, all 4 on.
We have a motion to put those 4 people on the cemetery board. I have a second by, hello,
Gary.
Mr. Councilman Couch.
Couch, I'm sorry, Gary.
Please, thank you.
Sorry, Mr. Couch.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. That is approved. Kathy Hanlon, Asa Maddox, Carol Walton, Billy Wiley will be appointed to the cemetery board. This one could get a little more difficulty. Charter Review Commission, we appoint 7 regular members. They must be residents of Granbury. As you know, council, we appointed these the last go around, and there are some of the folks on there that were on before that have reapplied, and we'll go through those names. And we've got some new applicants that are on here. Here again, there's 7 members required, and I think we have 9 applicants. So council, you've had an opportunity to look at these. The first thing we're going to do is get 7 of the 7 most voted people. And I'm going to start right down the list here. A show of hands for Tom Baker. Got 1, 2. A show of hands for Larry Gilly. 1, 2, 3, 5. A show of hands for John Grace. A show of hands for Mark Gresham. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, council, you know you can only vote 7 times.
Oh,
Okay.
shoot.
I'm counting.
A show of hands for Bob Haggard. 1, 2, 4. A show of hand for Mr. Steve Cuban. 2, 3, 4. A show of hands for Jim Marshall. 2, 5. A show of hands for Don McBride. 1, 2, 3. And a show of hands for Bruce Wadley. 1, 2, 3, 4. So as I look through this, we had 9 applicants, and we've got 2 that had 2 votes. So that leaves us with 7 folks here, which will be Larry Gilly, Mark Grisham, Bob Haggard, Stephen Cuban, Jim Marshall, Don McBride, and Bruce Wadley. So, council, I've got those 5 were those 7 were the 7 most picked. Do I have a motion to select those 7 people?
So moved.
I have a motion by Councilman Mobley.
Second.
I have a second by Councilperson Reiner. So we have a motion to select Larry Gilly, Mark Grisham, Bob Haggard, Steve Cuban, Jim Marshall, Don McBride, and Bruce Wadley. Any more discussion on that, council? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. That is approved. At this time, we will now make a motion to appoint those 7 people to the Charter Review Commission.
So moved.
I have a motion by Councilman Corrigan and a second by Councilperson Reiner. Any more discussion on appointing those 7 people to the Charter Review? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. As approved, those 7 people, I won't name their names again, but I'll give them the card there, will be assigned to the Charter Review Commission. Our next one will be the Granbury Parks Board. We have appoint 3 members at large, no residency required. The terms expiring are Julia Pinnell, Joe Parker, and Kay Wazelinski. Hey, I did it. Where's that? I need to have a cold more often, don't I? And we have 5 applicants here. Julie Pinnell, Joe Parker, and Kay Wazelinski have indicated they would like to serve on the Parks Board again. Here again, I'm going to go through the names with a show of hands. Our first applicant is Laura Bush, which this was her number 3 choice. All in favor of Laura Bush, right? Show of hands. The next one was Joshua Morrison, and this was his first choice. A show of hands. 1, 2, 3, 5. Our next one was Julia Pinnell, the incumbent. 1, 2, 4. And our next one was Joe Parker, an incumbent. That don't count going like this.
I'm waiting.
Show of hands. And our next one is Kay Wazelinski, an incumbent. 2, 3, 4, 5. So, council, we have 3 for that 3 expiring terms, which be Joshua Morrison, Julia Pinnell, and Kay Wazelinski. All in favor of nominating those 3? I need a motion to nominate those 3. I have a motion by Councilman Mobley.
Second.
And a second by Councilman Corrigan. Any more discussion on those 3 nominees? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Those 3 are nominated: Joshua, Julia, and Joe Parker. Kay Wazelinski. At this time, we'll entertain a motion to appoint those three new members to the Granbury Parks Board.
So moved.
I have a motion by Councilman Allen.
Second.
I have a second by Councilman Corrigan. Any more discussion on that, council? All in favor of appointing those three to the Granbury Parks Board, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Those three will be appointed to the Granbury Parks Board. Next board is the Granbury Regional Airport Board. We have appointment 2 members at large and 1 alternate member. No residency requirement. That don't sound right. They live somewhere. The terms of expiring, the ones expiring are Monty Johnson, Andy Rash, and Bradley Benson, alternate, which is not seeking reappointment. So we have we have the 3 places, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 applicants out there. Council, I'll go through the applicants here to get the nominees for the 3 positions. And mind you again, that's 2 members at large and 1 alternate. We got Kathy Hanlon. Show of hands. Monty Johnson, which is incumbent. Got 5. Thank you. Donna Keller. Alan Kittleson. Andy Rash, incumbent. And Lon Wimberly. So, council, we have 5 that you guys have chosen: Monty Johnson, Andy Rash, and Lon Wimberly. I'll entertain a motion to select those 3 for the Granbury Regional Airport Board.
So moved.
I have a motion by Councilman Mobley.
Second.
I have a second by Councilman Allen. Any more discussion on those 3 candidates? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Their names are approved. At this time, I will entertain a motion.
So moved, Mayor.
To appoint those 3 candidates to the Regional Airport Board. And I have a motion by Councilman Allen and a second by Councilman Couch. Okay. Well, can we do that after we vote? Put them on the board? Yeah. Yeah. So we have a motion and a second. No more discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Those 3 are approved. We do need to appoint one of those 3 as an alternate. Do I have a nominee for an alternate for that out of those 3?
Mayor, since Lon hadn't been on there before, I think he would be a good one if I'm correct.
Talking about Lonnie Wimberly?
Lonnie, I'm sorry.
Okay, or Lon Wimberly, yeah.
Wimberly, if that's correct.
That's correct.
Okay.
I have a motion to appoint Lon Wimberly as the alternate.
Second.
I have a second by Councilman Corrigan. Any more discussion on that, council? All in favor of Lon Wimberly being appointed as the alternate, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. That is approved. Out of those 3, Lon Wimberly will be the alternate on the Granbury Regional Airport Board. Our next one is our Historic Preservation Commission. We appoint 4 members at large and 1 member to fill an unexpired term vacated by Connie Duncan. The board consists of at least 4 owners of a landmark or property in the historic district. Remaining members must be city residents. The 3 current members remaining on the board and all the applicants are owners of property in the historic district. Therefore, it meets all the requirements. The Historical Commission Historical Capacity Overlay, and the HPO, which is the Historical Preservation Overlay. The 2018 terms expiring are Victoria Connors, Connie Duncan, which is vacated and unexpired term, Bob Pinnell, Claudia Southern, and Stan Wazlinski. So we have the 5, and we have 5 applicants. So council, we can go right into the 5 applicants, which is Kay Colloran, Victoria Connors, Bob Pennell, Claudia Southern, and Stan Wazelinski. If the council wants to make a motion to accept those 5 applicants, I'll entertain that.
Mayor, go ahead, Mr. Mobley.
I have a motion by Councilman Mobley and
I'll second it.
a second by Councilman Allen. Now, is there any more discussion? If no more discussion, all in favor of appointing those 5 applicants to the Historic Preservation Commission, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay. That is approved. Those will be appointed to the Historic Preservation Commission.
There's 1 year remaining on it.
Oh, okay. So at this time, council, we do have a vacated expired term, which is Connie Duncan's, which is only for 1 year. So at this time, I'll entertain a motion out of those 5 to place a person in that position.
Make a motion to place Kay in that position, being the newcomer.
Okay, I have a motion for Kay Colloran to be replacing Connie Duncan, which is the vacated unexpired term for 1 more year, and then she'll be able to apply again.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second by Councilman Couch. Any more discussion on that, council? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. That is approved, that Kay Colloran will replace Connie Duncan's vacant, unexpired term. Our next one is the Municipal Utility Advisory Board, the MUAB. Appoint 2 members at large and 1 member to fill an unexpired term. Must be a city resident, operate a business within this city, or be the representative and employee of a business on the City of Granbury Utilities. The terms expiring are Greg Corrigan, which is vacated upon his election. What is that, 1 more year left? 2? 1? Okay. And Ken Hackett, which here again will be a chair, and we'll select that. And Jim Jarrett. The applicants we have is Laura Bush, the second choice, Bob Haggard, number 4 choice, and Jim Jarrett, the incumbent. So we have 3 applicants, and we have 3 seats. So at this time, I'll just entertain a motion to accept the 3 applicants and to place them on the MUAB board.
Second.
So I have a motion by Councilman Couch and a second by Councilman Corrigan. Any more discussion on those 3 applicants?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
we just appointed Mr. Haggard to another committee, and he's here in the audience. Do we want to see if he's okay to take on 2?
Sure. Mr. Haggard, are you okay with that?
Going to do that? Okay.
We need you.
Mayor, I do have one question on
Now's the time.
Jim Jarrett. He used to be my neighbor, and he lives over here behind the funeral home behind Wally's, and that's not in the city limits. Are you showing that he owns a business or something in the city limits?
I didn't pull his application. I think his application's there.
Okay, Gary just said he owned a condo at his place.
Okay, there you
No
go.
problem. I just knew he moved, I didn't know.
No more discussion. All in favor of those 3 applicants being assigned to the Municipal Utility Advisory Board, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. That is approved. At this time, we need to, well, let me take it. Does the board select their chair?
No, they pick their own chair,
Yeah, okay.
but we need to.
But we need to fill the Greg Corrigan vacancy. So we need to appoint one of these that we have selected to serve on the vacancy there, the unexpired vacancy.
I'd like to make a motion that we appoint Laura Bush to that spot.
Okay, we have a motion to put Laura Bush in the unexpired vacancy.
Second.
A second by Greg Corrigan. Any more discussion, council? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. We didn't vote. Next one is our Planning and Zoning Commission. Appoint 4 members at large, must reside in the city limits for at least 12 months prior to being appointed, and be a registered city voter, and shall not be in areas in owe taxes. All applicants listed meet residency requirements as confirmed by the CAD tax roll and not be owe taxes, and all have indicated that they are registered city voters. That's on the Planning and Zoning Commission. The terms expiring are 4, which is Lee Daniels. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Kathy Briscoe. Lee Daniels is not seeking, and Kathy Briscoe is not seeking re-election.
Okay.
And Shirley Hooks and Eddie Rodriguez. With that said, we have 5 applicants, and we only need 4, so we'll go through the names here once again to get the candidates that we want to vote on. The first one being Laura Bush. This was her 4th choice. Show of hands for Laura Bush. Well, that settles that, but I'll go down through it anyway. Shirley Hooks, incumbent. Randall Moore. Joshua Morrison. And Eddie Rodriguez. So the 4 that we have here is Shirley Hook, Randall Moore, Joshua Morrison, and Eddie Rodriguez. I'll entertain a motion to appoint or to select those 5 candidates.
So moved, Mayor.
I have a motion by Councilman Allen.
Second.
I have a second by Councilman Corrigan. All in favor of those 4 candidates, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Those are approved. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to appoint those 4 candidates, being Shirley Hook, Randall Moore, Joshua Morrison, Eddie Rodriguez, to the Planning and Zoning Commission.
So moved.
I have a motion by Councilman Allen. I have a second by Councilperson Reiner. Any more discussion on those appointments?
The chair is appointed by them, right?
Yes.
Okay.
No more discussion. All in favor of appointing those 4 candidates, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. That is approved. Shirley Hooks, Randall Moore, Joshua Morrison, Eddie Rodriguez will be appointed to the Planning and Zoning Commission. Public Television Channel Advisory Board. Appoint 2 members. Board consists of 7 members. A majority of the members must be city residents. And of the 5 members remaining on the board, 2 are city residents. Therefore, both applicants appointed must be city residents. The term expiring is John Back and Chris Cheney, which are both city residents, and they have both indicated they want to be reassigned. I'm sorry. You're exactly right. Chris Cheney is not. John Back does. So the candidates we have, which we scratched through Jerry Allen because he is not a city resident. We need a city resident. And we have John Back, which is incumbent. Laura Bush, which is a city resident. That's her first choice. Jack D. Amario, which is a city resident. Bob Haggard and Carter Schultz. Here again, I'll go down the list to get 2 candidates. Show of hands for John Back. 1, 2, 3. Show of hands for Laura Bush. Show of hands for Jack Guillermo. Show of hands for Bob Haggard. And a show of hands for Carter Schultz. 1, 2, 3, 5. So the 2 candidates we have are John Back and Carter Schultz, which are in the city. I'll entertain a motion to select those 2 for the 2 terms for the Public Television Channel Advisory Board.
So moved.
I have a motion by Councilman Mobley.
Second.
I have a second by Councilman Corrigan. Any more discussion on those applicants? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. John Back and Charter Schultz are the candidates for the Public Television Channel Advisory Board. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to appoint John Back and Charter Schultz to the Public Television Channel Advisory Board.
So moved.
I have a motion by Councilman Allen.
Second.
I have a second by Councilperson Reiner. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. That is approved. Our next one is our Zoning Board of Adjustments. Appointments are 4 members at large. All members must reside in the city and be registered city voters. All applicants listed meet the residency requirements and confirm that the tax roll, and all have indicated that they are registered city voters. The terms expiring are, here again, I think, is Greg Corrigan, is that an unexpired term?
Oh, it's a full term.
Huh?
That is expired.
It is expired, okay, he's coming on. Okay, you got Greg Corrigan, Ronnie Hurd, Faye Landum, which was an alternate, and Mary Ellen Riley, which was an alternate. So we have 4, and we have 4 applicants. Makes it pretty easy, folks.
So moved.
So I have a motion by Mr. Allen.
Mr. Haggard's already on.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, he's the only thing we have.
I'll second and then we can talk about it.
Hang on here now. We've got a motion by Mr. Allen and a second by Corrigan. The discussion is that Bob Haggard is already on 2 committees.
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Haggard? Can you handle that?
He's a volunteer firefighter.
Well,
All I heard was maybe.
yeah,
Don't do it.
the
I don't
Charter
think so.
Review
Let's-
Commission,
Let's give that some time.
Huh?
I think we should give that some time.
I
I
agree.
think 3 boards is too many.
Yeah.
I'll pull my motion, Mayor.
Got
still gotta vote on it. My question is, how long is the Charter Review Commission
6 months.
realistic? 6 months, okay.
Well, and the attorney brings up a good thought. We have to appoint an alternate, and there's 2 alternates on here, and you can probably, some of the alternates are sitting out there in the crowd. They don't serve very much on there.
I think they can hear you.
Well, I mean, they don't get,
They don't get a vote.
most of the time, these people are here.
They don't get a vote unless a member's
Exactly,
absent.
exactly. I mean, you served on this board, and so my thoughts are, we're going to need an alternate. We're going to need 2 alternates probably with the people that we're assigning here, and so or at least 1 alternate. And my thoughts are if Mr. Haggard, we could move him into the alternate position.
I would say that if the commission was going to be an actual full term, that'd be a different story. But if he thinks he can handle it and it's only 6 months, then I'm okay with it. As an alternate, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
If it gets too much, come back. We'll put you on 2 more boards.
So all in favor of those 4 candidates being assigned or being appointed to the Zoning Board of Adjustments, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. So at this time, I will entertain a motion to appoint Bob Haggard, and we need 1 more for the alternate. We need to either put Mary Ellen back on as an alternate or Faye Landon back onto an alternate.
With
One of
Faye?
the 2.
Wouldn't Faye won already?
They both were alternates right now, but one of them's not going to be an alternate anymore because we are making a motion to put Bob Haggard as an alternate.
Okay. Let's put Mary, my motion be put Mary Riley on there. So,
Bob and Mary.
Second.
So your motion is to have Mary Ellen as an alternate and Bob Haggard as the alternate.
correct.
Got a motion to have Bob Haggard and Mary Ellen as alternates.
Second.
I have a second by Councilman Corrigan. Any more discussion on that, council? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. That is approved with Mary Ellen and Bob Haggard being alternates appointed to the Zoning Board of Adjustments. That concludes the board assignments. I want to thank everybody that has applied. As you see, there's not a whole lot of folks that didn't get appointed, but I hope that those folks will keep their names in the hat, especially on this TV advisory board. We at times have openings there, and sometimes it's a working board, and so there's opportunities there. So keep your names in the hat there, and if you've got people out there that want to apply, you can apply at any time, and our city secretary will keep them on record so that when we do the board's adjustments or do our board assignments at the beginning of the year, we'll have those applicants out there. So once again, thank everybody for applying for these boards. They're very important to the council. That concludes our regular meeting here. There is no executive session, council. So is there any more discussion, council, that you'd like to have?
You know, Mayor, I'd like to comment on how many people did apply. I can remember a few years back, we'd have 3 opens and 1 person apply. And I think with the advertising and stuff that the city secretary has done, it's really helped us. And I'm proud to see everybody putting their application in, their name in.
If no more discussion, council, this council meeting is adjourned. Stay warm.